Tonight, before you fall asleep, your brain is about to do something it has probably done thousands of times before. You'll imagine a conversation that never happened. You'll replay an argument where, this time, you finally say the perfect words. You'll picture yourself becoming the person you've always wanted to be. Or you'll quietly create an entire life that exists nowhere except inside your own mind. The strange part is, you didn't choose to think about these things. They simply appeared, almost as if someone pressed play on a movie that only you could see. And here's what's even stranger. Millions of people experience the exact same thing every single night. Yet most of them never stop to ask why. Why does your mind wait until the room is silent, until the lights are off, until there's nothing left to distract you, before it begins telling stories that feel so unbelievably real? Is it just random imagination? A sign of overthinking? Or is your brain trying to solve a problem you've been too busy to notice? Because according to psychology, those imaginary worlds you create before sleep aren't random at all. In many cases, they're quiet clues about your emotions, your fears, your unmet needs, and the person you're slowly becoming. Once you understand why your brain creates these stories, you'll never experience bedtime the same way again. The truth is, your brain has never been interested in simply remembering the past. Its real job is predicting the future. Every single day, your mind is quietly asking one question: what happens next? That's why, before an important interview, you imagine answering questions. Before meeting someone you like, you rehearse the conversation in your head. And after an argument, you suddenly think of the perfect comeback hours later. Psychologists call this mental simulation. Your brain practices life before life actually happens. But something changes at night. When the world finally becomes quiet, your brain no longer has emails to answer, notifications to check, or people demanding your attention. For the first time all day, it has room to think. That's when the simulations begin. Not because you're losing touch with reality, but because your mind is finally catching up with everything you never had time to process. And here's the fascinating part. The scenarios your brain chooses aren't random. They almost always revolve around the people, the moment, and the emotions that mattered most to you. Which raises an even bigger question. If your mind keeps replaying the same kinds of stories, what is it still trying to figure out? Here's where things become surprisingly personal. Have you ever noticed you don't imagine random people? You imagine the one person you can't stop thinking about? The conversation you wish had gone differently. The life you wish you were living. That's not a coincidence. Your brain builds imaginary scenarios using the emotions that feel unfinished. If you keep replaying an argument, it may be because your mind is still searching for closure. If you keep imagining someone finally understanding you, it may not be about that person at all. It may be about your need to feel seen. And if you constantly picture a future where you're more successful, more confident, or finally proving everyone wrong, that doesn't necessarily mean you're obsessed with success. Sometimes, it simply means your mind is trying to protect the version of you that still believes you're capable of becoming more. Psychologists have found that our brains naturally return to unresolved emotions, not because they want to torture us, but because unfinished experiences continue demanding attention. In a strange way, your imagination becomes the place where your emotions finish the conversations that real life never did. Which means the question isn't, why do I keep creating fake scenarios? The real question is, what emotion keeps asking for my attention every single night? So, is it normal to create fake scenarios before you fall asleep? For most people, yes. In fact, your imagination is one of the most powerful psychological tools you have. It helps your brain explore possibilities, process emotions, and prepare for moments that haven't happened yet. But there's one important line. If these imaginary worlds motivate you, help you understand yourself, or bring you comfort after a difficult day, they're simply part of being human. But if you begin depending on them, if they become more exciting than your real life, if the only version of yourself you truly love exists inside your imagination, then your mind may be telling you something much deeper. Not that you're broken, but that there's a part of your real life asking for your attention. Maybe a dream you've ignored, a conversation you've been avoiding, or an emotion you've been carrying for far too long. Perhaps that's why your brain keeps returning to the same stories. Not because it wants you to escape reality, but because it's quietly pointing toward the reality that still needs to change. So tonight, when another imaginary world begins playing inside your mind, don't ask yourself, why am I imagining this? Ask yourself, what is this story trying to teach me about my real life? Because sometimes, the life you create before falling asleep isn't an escape from reality. It's a reflection of the reality your heart is still trying to understand. If you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday human behavior, subscribe to Mind Unlocked for more documentaries that reveal how your mind quietly shapes the life you live. Until next time, stay curious, because the greatest mystery you'll ever solve